Hello! I recently realized that it has been a long time since I talked about some of my all-time favorite books on this channel, and so today I thought that it would be kind of fun to share with you some books that I consider to be my favorite books of all time. I have 7 books on my list, but these are by no means my only favorite books. There are so many books out there that I absolutely love and would consider some of my favorites, but I had to narrow it down a little bit, and these were the 7 that really stuck out to me. These were the 7 that I immediately thought, those are the ones I want to talk about. This list does not include series because that's a separate video all on its own. These are just standalone novels that I consider to be some of my favorite books of all time. So I'm just going to start at the very top because why not? Why wait? I'm going to start with my favorite book of all time, and it has been my favorite book of all time for a very long time. I can't remember the last time that I considered a book other than this my favorite. I read this book for the first time when I was in 10th grade, and it has been my favorite book since then, and that was what, 8-9 years ago? So yeah, this is definitely my favorite book of all time, and that is The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger. You might think that this is a little bit of a cliche answer to be my favorite book of all time, but I don't care. I love this book so much. It's such a beautiful love story between two people who are so unlikely to fall in love, and they do, and it is just beautiful. It's magical, it's wonderful, it's everything that I could ever want in a book, and I love it. I've reread it 3 or 4 times, and every single time I read it, I learn something new. I find some new piece of information, and I find another way to love this book even more. And so, obviously, if you haven't read this book, I would highly, highly, highly recommend it because it's my favorite, and it's amazing, and I can't recommend it enough. Next, I'm going to talk about a pretty obvious choice, and that is The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. I won't spend a lot of time talking about this book because so many people, both on BookTube, on Tumblr, in real life, just in general, really, really love this book, and it's understandable because it's amazing. It is a World War II historical fiction novel. It's about books. It's wonderful. It's such a beautiful story. It's been a while since I actually read this, and so I think maybe I need to reread it pretty soon, but I really love it, and I would, again, highly recommend it if you haven't checked it out because it's so, so good. The next book I'm going to talk about is another book that I read in high school, and that is One Day by David Nichols. I don't know if I would necessarily consider the content of this book to be my favorite, but I think that the memories surrounding this book for me are really what make it my favorite. I read it when I was on vacation with a very close friend in high school. We both read it while we were on that trip, and I just really loved that experience. My friend read it, and then I read it, and then we talked about it, and it was just such a really great experience. It was the first time outside of school that I ever really connected with someone through a love for a book, and I wouldn't take that away at all. If you don't know, the book takes place on the same day every year, and it's following these 2 friends, Dexter and Emma, and it's about their friendship in college and the later years, and it's just amazing. The next book I'm going to talk about is a book that I actually don't have in physical form. I read it on my Nook, and I really desperately wish that I had a physical copy of it, and I'm going to buy one pretty soon. But that is Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wein. This is another YA historical fiction novel following 2 friends during World War II. One of them is a spy, and the other is a pilot, and they meet in an unlikely circumstance, and they become friends, and it is such a beautiful book. If you ever need a book about friendship, this is the book for you. If you ever want to read about 2 girls just really being super close friends, would do anything for each other, this is a book for you. If you ever need a book that will make you bawl your eyes out at 10 p.m. in the bathtub, this is the book for you. It's so wonderful. If historical fiction is your thing, if you like reading books about World War II, this is definitely a book that you need to pick up because it is amazing. The next book I'm going to talk about is my favorite classic of all time, and that is, of course, Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I read this book in 2014, I think. It was the first time I'd ever read it, and I loved it. It's such a great book. Jane Eyre is a heroine that everybody wants to be, and Mr. Rochester is a man that everybody wants to love. And I just love this book so much. It's an incredible book, and if you ever need some female empowerment, this is a book for you. The next book I'm going to talk about is what I would venture to say is my all-time favorite young adult book, and that is Jellicoe Road by Melina Marchetta. I love this book because it is such a powerful coming-of-age story. It's about a girl named Taylor who doesn't really know where she came from, and kind of the only adult figure she's ever known has been ripped away from her, and she has to figure out exactly who she is and what her past is, and she has to figure out who she wants to be and where she wants to go from here. And I really, really love it. It's got a really sweet love story that is very subtle. It's so unassuming and it's so beautiful, and it's got a little bit of action in there. There's a little bit of mystery. Everything about this book is so good, and like I said, it's my favorite young adult novel probably of all time. So check it out if you haven't, because it is incredible. The last book I have to talk about is a book that you're probably sick of seeing on my channel, because I've talked about it so much recently, because I just read it this year and I haven't stopped thinking about it since, and that is The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. This is such an incredible book. It is a perfect book for book lovers, along the same lines as The Book Thief. If you love books, if you love reading, this is a book for you. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I actually did a full video about The Shadow of the Wind. It's not a review video, it's a recommendation. It's a why you should read this book kind of video. So I will link it on the screen and in the description. You should go check it out. But this book is so, so good, and if you read it, you won't regret it because it's incredible. So those are some of my all-time favorite books. Like I said, this is by no means the entire list of books that I absolutely love, but these are the books that I just think about a lot. These are the books that I get the urge to reread the most, and these are books that I would recommend to anybody if they ask me for a recommendation in a bookstore, because these are my favorite books of all time. If you've read any of the books that I mentioned in this video, please let me know down in the comments. Do you love them as much as I do? I would really love to know. Also, let me know some of your favorite books of all time, because I'm always looking for more recommendations. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!